Seems every guy is on a mission. Hey. To get what he wants, to get what he needs, to close the deal. No need to speed things up, no need to be hasty. No need to rush, no need to rush. We've got nothing but time. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Ignore the clock, it don't matter. We click a trick you thought. Hey, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Ignore the clock, it don't matter. We click a trick you thought. Let's take it slow, baby, just me and you. Let's take it slow, usikute. Let's take it slow, baby, just me and you. Let's take it slow, usikute. Every girl is on a mission. Hey. To get what she needs, to get what she wants, to close the deal. Give me some time, take me on a date. Hold me close and tell me not to leave. 3 years later, perhaps then we've got nothing but time. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Ignore the clock, it don't matter. We click a trick you thought. Hey. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Ignore the clock, it don't matter. We click a trick you thought. Hey, let's take it slow, baby, just me and you. Let's take it slow, usikute. Let's take it slow, baby, just me and you. Let's take it slow, usikute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. If you can take your time to start settling down. If you have any last things you may need to do outside, now would be the time, because we will begin in the next 15 minutes.
Let's take it slow, baby, just me and you. Let's take it usikute. Hey, hey. Chorus one more time, guys. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Ignore the clock, it don't matter. We click a trick you thought. Hey, hey. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Ignore the clock, it don't matter. We click a trick you thought. Let's take it slow, baby, just me and you. Let's take it slow, usikute. Let's take it slow, baby, just me and you. Let's take it slow, usikute. Let's take it slow. Let's take it slow, baby, just me and you. Let's take it slow, usikute. Tapukaje mapenzi, shambiwa hatari. Sijakaza, sijiwezi, nyonge mina kubali. Panya mapo ziwezi, onyesha daktari. Baada ya miaka na miezi, bado nina maswali. Mbono konyona, vile unavyomwona yulolie naye sasa, karo itapona. Mungu nisaidie nisilie pone faster away from you. So my tears dry up, hey, and I can smile again. And this caterpillar can finally butterfly. It made a big, big sound when my heart hit the ground, and it broke into, broke into. It made a big, big sound when my heart hit the ground, and it broke into 10,000 pieces, yeah. Hey. Listen. Hey. Nowadays when I think of you, I feel nothing inside. It's empty like the half of my bed that was your side. And even though I saw the signs, I ignored every time. You showed me I was losing this was so I can decide to walk away. Mbono konyona vile unavyomona yuloli na ye sasa karo itapona. Mungu nisaidie nisilie pone faster away from you. So my tears dry up and I can smile again. And this caterpillar can finally butterfly. Big, big sound when my heart hit the ground, and it broke into, broke into. It made a big, big sound when my heart hit the ground, and it broke into 10,000 pieces, yeah. Mbono konyona vile unavyomona yuloli naye sasa karo itapona. Mungu nisaidie nisilie pone faster away from you. So my tears dry up and I can smile again. And the caterpillar can finally butterfly. It made a big, big sound when my heart hit the ground, and it broke into, broke into. It made a big, big sound when my heart hit the ground, and it broke into 10,000 pieces, yeah, yeah. You are the light shining down on me, glittering bright amongst everything. And then when I was down, you would be there to lift my spirit from the ground. And you showed me the meaning of true love. truth in your eyes took away the doubt in me. And then when I was down, you would be there to lift my spirit from the ground. And you showed me the meaning of true love, the source of my healing. Wanda pandula ke wili konje. 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 Wanda pandula. Wanda pandula. Wanda pandula. Way, 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 way.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us at the launch of the MTC Knockout Project 2020. To kickstart the show, please welcome onto the stage the dynamic trio known as Slaughterhouse.
All right. Okay.
Say,
It's
everybody, are you there?
Sweetheart.
Sweetheart. Come on. Come on.
Come on. Cheers. Support.
You know my name is Patricia Amai. And I am from Tungwell. But I want to tell you something. I met these guys. These Suk boys at hello. They did it to me. And they said they want my punani, my leg attack. Now they are back again. They live in sweet West Africa. That's it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Can we go Check. Yo, yo, yo. I don't know if I know. Don't know. I think it's just I don't know if I know. Don't know. I think yo. I don't know if I know, but I think I know. I don't know. I think it. Yo. I think it all day. Embuzu. Jeko shikutu. She eat my money cause I eat it kunundu. Take a shopping. Maruwa to Kruvu. Nyuku. Shakoko lutu. Danki Kushi, Danki Prata, Klapa Sasa, JJ Tana. JJ Tana. Atesa Papa Tes, Danki Kushi, Danki Prata, Klapa Sasa, JJ Tana. I think it all day.
Ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name DJ Spooza. Thank you very much for having us. Have a good night. We love you guys. Thank you.
Yo.
Hak papi. Hak mami.
Slaughterhouse.
Indeed, an electrifying performance by the Slaughterhouse crew. Give it up for them one more time. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second edition of the MTC Knockout Project here at the NTN Backstage. This year, we are knocking out homelessness. I'm your MC for tonight, Liz Ross. Also, allow me to welcome MTC Board Chairperson, Mr. Theo Berirwa, MTC Board of Directors, MTC CEO, Dr. Liki Erastus, invited esteemed guests, media houses, artists, personalities, and audience. Welcome once again, and thank you all for gracing us. Now, moving right along, let's welcome our very own King of Spoken Word, Ashwin Berry.
What is a home without a shelter? What does Ubuntu mean? Is it really one for all and all for one if any of us is in the streets? Is that what unity means? That my sisters and brothers can starve, forced to fend for themselves and each other. And when I see my kin, the first thing I think is that I don't want to be bothered, so I roll up my window or speed across the street. Forgetting that ignoring their reality is me saying that I have forgotten what it means to be family, what it means to be African. You see, there are many systems that we have been forced to live with, but our sense of community must always be held dear because that is who we are, each other. All humanity must always remember this. To forget this is the pathway to harming each other. Empathy, intentional on creating equity, that's how we love each other. Not forgetting that freedom, health, and wealth are our collective birthright, is how we guide each other out of harmful cycles, social cycles. It's not enough to read your Bible. It's not enough to have thoughts, prayers, and well wishes. It's not enough to have policies for the poor peddled to the people to propel your politics. There's more to this. Human lives shouldn't have to wait for the winter or a pandemic in order to be remembered. When we say that we want to build a better society, that should always include every member. Because our house will only be a home when we all have shelter. Our house will only be a home when we all have shelter.
The MTC Knockout Project. Together, we can beat homelessness.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget that we are, of course, live stream on all our social media platforms. You can, of course, use the hashtag MTC Knockout Project. Excuse my mask. Now, without further ado, allow me to introduce Chief Human Capital and Corporate Affairs Officer, Mr. Temakanjo.
That was the lamest handshake I ever got. I'm sure you guys can do much better than that. I also think we should give Ashwin another round of applause. You see, back in the days when we used to do poetry, and I'm talking back in the days, Chinua Achebe, we were struggling with the English language, and we were still expected to, put these rhymes together. So I think he did a wonderful job, such a befitting poem to what we're trying to do here tonight. Let me rest on the protocol that was already observed. You guys would recall that in 2019, we unleashed a very strong weapon, powerful weapon titled the MTC Knockout Project. A project that is ready to knock out any social ill that we feel is getting out of hand. This machinery is strong and resilient enough to withstand anything, because behind it is the power of all Namibians. In 2019, we chose to pick a fight against gender-based violence, and we defeated it hands-on. But the fight must continue because, like any boxing fight, even if you receive a knockout, the boxers always get up and they continue fighting. We urge all Namibians to continue this good fight because together we can defeat gender-based violence. In addition to leading very powerful conversations around GBV last year, we also raised an amount of 841,320, which we distributed to 4 GBV-based organizations, namely Monica Gender-Based Violence Solutions, and I'm not talking about the First Lady, Ecumenical Social Diaconate Action, Namibia Rural Women Assembly, and Ombeja Yehinga Organization. The beneficiaries were selected by all the participating sponsors based on merit. Starting from this evening, we intend to start a very serious fight against homelessness. Being homeless is defined as a person without a home, and therefore typically living on the streets, as illustrated here tonight. This definition is sometimes expanded because they say that you don't have to be living on the street to be homeless. Even if you have a roof over your head, you can still be without a home because you might not have rights to stay where you live, or your home might be unsuitable. As we drive around the city of Windhoek, we are almost confronted by the homeless. Some of them find shelter in graveyards, under bridges, sometimes on pavements. When you are homeless, you do not have access to clean water. You do not have access to food, basic medication, and food. The homeless are almost 17 times more likely to have been victims of violence. People become homeless for various reasons. There are social causes of homelessness, such as the lack of affordable housing, poverty, and unemployment, and life events which causes individuals to become homeless. Some people become homeless because they simply can no longer afford to pay rent. The bottom line is, homelessness is not a choice, and it can happen to any of us. As Namibians, we have to pause and debate the issues, not with the aim of criticizing or blaming each other, but to find solutions and, most importantly, act. This project is a call to action with two main objectives. Firstly, to raise awareness, create conversation, and find solutions. And secondly, to raise funds so that those who are experts can act. As Namibians, we sometimes love talking. And if words would translate into bricks, Namibia would look much better than Dubai. Let us rather act and do what needs to be done. Just like last year, we had to dig very, very deep and find an innovative and exciting way to capture the attention of all Namibians. A lot of the female Namibians asked me last year whether they could also participate in the boxing project. And the funny thing was that they always had an opponent in mind already. And that's why we decided that they are not going to participate, because it sounded very, very personal. The MTC Knockout Project Against Homelessness have challenged 30 Namibian personalities to get on stage at a live music concert and perform 2 hit songs of 30 Namibian artists. These personalities will be challenged to do the unthinkable in the interests of this cause. They will have to their disposal the artist who owns the 2 hit songs, a studio, a choreographer, a voice coach, a live band, professional dancers, and a producer who will work with them for the next 3 months to get them ready for a performance of a lifetime, helping them to raise their voices and sing till we sing a roof over the heads of the homeless. During the next 3 months, these personalities and artists together will become ambassadors and the voice for the homeless. This year we want to raise at least 1 million Namibian dollars. Corporates or individuals can contribute and participate in the following ways. Firstly, by pledging an amount of 50,000 Namibian dollars to endorse the participation of any of the personalities and get excellent brand value in return. I see Standard Bank is here. They brought their checkbook. I see a lot of other corporates. I see Trustco. I see the NBC. Looks like we're going to raise this money this evening already. So that is how corporates can get involved. If we can get all 30 personalities endorsed, we can raise a cool 1.5 million Namibian dollars. This massive Never Seen Before music concert is scheduled for the 3rd of October, 2020, here at the National Theatre of Namibia. Every Namibian must watch this concert. And you can do so online for only 50 Namibian dollars, which gives you access to the entire concert online. Those who wish to watch it live in theater will be charged the amount of 500 Namibian dollars only. Remember that all proceeds will go towards assisting the homeless. Ticket sales will go live at the end of this month. We would like to thank all these personalities and artists who decided to take up this challenge and for having committed 3 months of intense preparation to give Namibia and the world the best live experience ever. Tonight, we will reveal only 5 personalities and artists. We will then proceed to reveal them in batches on the 14th, 21st, and 28th of July via social media. Throughout this process, we will keep the nation informed on the progress of their preparations of these personalities, because once they get on stage, they will only mean business. Now allow me to reveal to you the first 5 artists and personalities. Starting with the first one, Von Arends. Of course, you know that he's the NAMA Award winner in the Best Africans category in 2019. And the man is an international touring singer, songwriter from Swakopmund. Let's see who we're pairing him with. With the personality, Maria Ileka. She is the editor-in-chief of Informante, chairperson of the Fashion Council of Namibia. She's a multi-award-winning photographer and an activist in the Me Too movement. You'll see that all of them have personalized messages talking to the cause of homelessness. So that is the first artist and personality. The second is Ethnics. Now, of course, you know that Ethnics is one of Namibia's hottest new sounds when it comes to traditional hip-hop, R&B. And we are pairing them with NSK and N. NSK is a radio presenter, actor, dancer, choreographer, while N is a poet, public speaker, media personality, and lifestyle writer for The Weekender. Let's move on to the third one, Maranatha. Small deeds are done better than great deeds planned. Maranatha is a sensational gospel singer, NAMA winner, vocal coach, and PRO. And we are pairing her with Dr. Esperance Luvindau. Doctor is a medical doctor, health advocate, speaker, and poet with a calling for African development. You know, when these personalities come up, they are committing to 3 months of intense training. We expect a bit of a more lively round of applause. Thank you very much. So, pair number 4 is DJ Vuyo. DJ Vuyo does reggae and kwaito artists and is from Makanga and the Zauli in Zambezi region. We are pairing him with Neville Basson. Well, I comedian, personality, entrepreneur, and that's Neville Basson. And then the last one is, of course, PDK. The power of a dream is knowledge, and we are pairing them with a very unlikely pair, which is Dr. Liki Erastus, who's the CEO of the most admirable brand in Namibia. He's a philanthropist and a very humble soul. The second one is Melvin Angula, who's the chief commercial officer at MTC, and the other one just sells recharge vouchers there. So stay tuned for the reveal of the rest of the artists and personalities Thank you very much. On social media in the coming days, remember that this is not just a concert, it's an opportunity to make a difference. Because together we can beat homelessness. With that said, kindly allow me to welcome Ms. Ute Sinkala, who is a clinical psychologist who will share with us her experience on homelessness as a societal ill. Thank you very much.
Is it good? Is it better? Okay. So hi everyone. I'm so glad that I came after Mr. Tim Ekanjo because I was thinking I couldn't possibly follow the poet or the artists. Because by virtue of being a clinical psychologist, I speak of all the serious things that people don't want to hear about. But anyway, when we speak about homelessness in terms of the psychological impacts, for me, as we all know, homelessness is an old age phenomenon. It's not something that we are hearing for the first time. It's also not something that we are trying to fight for the first time. But in order to fight homelessness, what we need to do is, first of all, we have to each look at ourselves, our inherent beliefs about ourselves, about society, and our humanity. How do we view humanity? Then we can see how we view homelessness and the causes of homelessness and how to eradicate homelessness. And only then can we look at effective solutions. For example, we all see the youths that are begging on the street every day. If we view these youths as lazy, if we view them as scalums, who are thieves, who are just begging in order to get money so that they can feed their habit of sniffing glue, drinking, if we view them as youths who ran away from home, because we hear this all the time. They just don't want to be under their parents' roof because they don't want to be governed by their parents. They don't want rules. They don't want responsibilities. Then what are we going to do? We are going to think of the possible solution of homelessness as getting the police involved. We are going to think that we just need to get them a proper dose of discipline. We need to punish them. We need to wrap them up and lock them up. And then the solution will be, we'll find a solution to homelessness. If we view these youths as people who are possibly experiencing a variety of social ills, a variety of problems caused by poverty, caused by many other issues, then our solutions that we are going to look at will be different. So what am I saying? I'm not saying that all homelessness is due to poverty. I'm also not saying that there are no youths out there that end up on the streets because they ran away from home and they don't want to be governed by their parents. That exists. That's true. But what I am saying is that we need to look at homelessness differently. We need to look at the different causes, the roots, so that we can look at different solutions. So what is homelessness if it is a social ill? Society focuses on individuals as the cause of their own homelessness. We blame the victims rather than the society. We blame the victims rather than the social and the economic forces that we are under. What am I saying when I say this? Right now we are under, what do we call it, a national or international pandemic? We are under different stages of lockdown. We are all wearing masks. And we are thinking about how this is impacting us now, only ourselves. What about the impact that this has on the rest of our society? What about the foreclosures that are going to be happening soon? What about people that are going to lose their homes? The thing is, we do not think that homelessness might happen to us. And yet it is something that could happen to anybody. It does not discriminate. The economic ramifications of of COVID-19 might end some of us on the street. It happens. So for most of us, it might be unimaginable to struggle on a daily basis to feed ourselves, to sleep in a warm bed. But for many, this is a reality every single day. There is no template when we look at the causes of homelessness. As mentioned earlier, poverty might be a cause. Because if you have very little at your disposal, and you've got many things that you need to take care of, you've got your children's education, you've got food, you've got shelter, and you've got very minimal income. Just like this, one little mistake might end you up on the street. One mistake. After COVID-19, losing a job might cause you to experience homelessness. As was mentioned earlier, homelessness might not necessarily look like it does to the rest of us when we're looking at the child on the street or the woman on the street, the ones that we so easily feel sorry for. It might happen to any of us after COVID-19. Work opportunities that are lost might end us up homeless. When we look at the lack or the poor assistance, especially in countries like Namibia, not by a lack of our government possibly wanting to help, but in the Western societies, what do they have? Often Africans would refer to it as, oh, they are so privileged and they are very lazy. In the UK, they get these social grants. And the more children you get, the more bigger the house that you get. In Namibia, because we do not have this, what happens? We become homeless. As we drive through Namibia, as we drive through Windhoek, all the time, the informal settlements are growing in front of our eyes. What is that? Do we only look at homelessness as the person on the street who's pushing around the cart? Or do we also look at inadequate housing? Is that not homelessness? And if we look at homelessness in terms of the corrugated iron houses that we see, the cardboard houses that we see, is that not homelessness? What is the percentages of homelessness in Namibia that we should be tackling if we look at it from that way? It's easy for us as Namibians, it's easy for us as privileged Namibians to forget. When we sit in our cars and we drive around and we are in our homes, it's easy to speak, as Mr. Kanjo said. We talk, but do you take a drive around the informal settlements to see what is going on? Are you that person that rolls up the window and just turns around because what can you do? Do we expose our children to the reality and the truth? I once had this experience where my son was talking to our domestic worker, and they spoke about something, and I had given her a piece of carpet or a mat. And then she told my son that she's going to go and put it at her house. And he asked, but where are you going to put it? And she says, I don't have a floor. And he said, what? And she says, no, I only have sand, and then I will put the carpet on top. And he couldn't believe it, because he's not exposed to it. So I'm not saying that everyone else is at fault. It's a human condition. We easily forget. We will speak, and then we go back to our comfortable homes, and then we sleep. We need to look at these things in a different way, because we have now taken on the responsibility of eradicating or knocking out homelessness. When we look at the homeless person, do we think about the prostitute who chooses to make her money in that way and then sleep on the streets? Do we think about the battered woman who ends up homeless because she had to make the difficult choice of either staying in the battered relationship, in the abusive relationship, or leave and be on the street? Who's going to lose her job because she ran away from home? When we think of homelessness, do we know, because I come from Mochivarongo, and I remember growing up, and there was always this guy, I think he's still there, several of them, sitting on the street and begging and talking to himself, and everybody's just walking around and they judge. It must have been using drugs. Oh, is it this one again? He's a permanent, there in front of Spar. But do we think of what landed him there? And when we think of helping that individual, are we going to give him a house? That's not going to solve his problem. Mental illness makes it difficult for people to have social relationships. Mental illness makes it impossible for people to maintain jobs. Without the proper assistance. Now, if you've got a mental illness that ends up resulting in you being homeless, it makes it impossible even for the people who are supposed to support you and help you to be there for you and help you. Because if they are ignorant, if they are not educated and they do not understand, which is the case in most instances in Namibia, what are we going to do? How are we going to help this homeless person who is mentally unstable? Mental illness that can be treated if intervention happens early on ends up with severe structural damage on the brain that is irreversible. We see this all the time. So that guy in the corner by Spa, now that I'm a psychologist, I still see him, and now I know why he is on the street. But me giving him a home, me giving him $500, me giving him therapy alone is not going to help. What are we going to do? When we speak about homelessness, we see a lot of people who are drug addicts. And it's easy for us to say he ended up homeless because he's drinking. Don't even give him that money, because the minute you give him that money, he's anyway just going to go and buy alcohol. I'm not saying that alcohol is the cause of homelessness. I'm not saying homelessness causes alcohol. But these things are interrelated. They are linked. Often, people who have addiction self-medicate as an attempt to deal with underlying psychological issues. And that ends up in addiction. And these are difficult things to eradicate. So whatever this challenge is that we've now taken on, are we ready? We must be ready. So if we look at experiences of people who are homeless, you know, I don't like just talking from a psychological perspective because I've read things in books or anything. So I often try and do a little bit of research to find out, because there's no point in me assuming that the person feels like this. So the daily experiences or the challenges and the possible solutions that I'm going to propose now, or that I'm going to share with you, is from somebody who's actually homeless, and not somebody who's a youth that ran away from home, but somebody who was a good, somebody of a good standing in a community. So the average life of a person who's homeless, their expectations or the requirements are not much different from me and you. This person wakes up in the morning and faces complicated issues. This person wakes up, and especially now, I read earlier somewhere today that there might be a cold front coming in SA, and obviously if it comes in SA, it hits us. So now you wake up, extremely cold, what do? You have to fend for yourself. You have to find some way of becoming warm. And this is a challenge, an extra challenge that me and you don't face every day. People who are homeless face challenges not just with the cold weather, but also with food, health care, and all of these things are interrelated. Because if you do not have shelter, you become sick earlier than everyone else. What happens? You become depressed, you become anxious. That might lead you to self-medicate with alcohol, because that keeps you warm. That makes you forget about your problems. So as much as we are struggling every day with maintaining a healthy daily routine, how much worse for the person who is homeless? How much worse to be able to keep up an exercise routine, eat healthy? How much more difficult is it to sleep for 8 hours, which our bodies need? So to deal with homelessness, we as a society, as a corporate world, needs to know that we need to look at it as a social ill that comes from various things like social unemployment, housing, breakdown in relationships. We need to look at social stigma, economic as well as political inequality. We need to look at stereotypes. We need to look at discrimination, because we do know that even stigma comes from ignorance. If we just learn more, if we educate ourselves and we spend time with the homeless, we will understand. Because it's not just a matter of providing a house. It's not a matter of bricks. It's a matter of looking at the individual holistically. It's a matter of withstanding the test of time. There's no point in giving houses to 700 people and walking away. What happens after that? Because the man who's got a social standing in society, who loses his job, becomes homeless, does not just lose his house or his job, he loses his social stature, he loses his identity, he loses respect, he loses everything. He then ends up with psychological and psychiatric concerns that he might start drinking away. So how are we going to help that man? Not by giving him a house. How are we going to help the woman who ran away from her abusive husband? She's never worked a day in her life. So we need to provide them with the adequate and safety of a house. We need to look at the other social and psychological concerns that they have, equip them, give them skills, and withstand the test of time. Be present. Yeah? Longevity. That's what we need. All right, thank you. That's the end.
Practicing to beat my dad tonight, but I'm practicing to beat my dad tonight, but he doesn't know that. He thinks he's going to walk in here and win the whole game, but not tonight. Because thanks to Mom, I've got my secret weapon. It's Spectra Home Internet. So now, I don't miss any tutorials and I get to practice against other players online. You know, like actual masters and not amateurs. But don't tell Dad, because he is going down tonight.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hey, baby. Hi, Dad.
Now, who's ready to be beat?
With MTC Spectra, it's always game on. Experience faster upload and download speeds from 10 to 100 megabytes per second at home, unlimited.
How did you do that?
Sign up today. Email us at spectra@mtc.com.na.
You ready to be beat?
Or dial toll free on 90111. MTC, make the connection.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please help welcome onto the stage the trend-setting, trailblazing, triple threat known affectionately as PDK!
Tosinewa, totuhange, number one. I'll take you there. You're my number two. I'll take you there. You're my number three. I'll take you there. You're my number four. I'll take you there. You're my number one. I'll take you there. You're my number two. I'll take you there. You're my number three. I'll take you there. You're my number four. I'll take you there. Number one, I'll take you there. You're number two, I'll take you there. You're number three, I'll take you there. You're number four.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, thank you so very much, PDK. All right, now thank you so very much also to Mr. Temakanjo and, of course, the good Dr. Ute. Truly, indeed, some powerful, interesting words and thoughts to ponder on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's please adhere to the COVID-19 rules and regulations at all times by keeping our mask on and, of course, staying at a safe distance of 1 meter at all times. All right, now moving swiftly along. Now, the team that I am about to introduce is what we call here at MTC for this knockout project, the core team. Yes, without this team, none of this would be possible. All the personalities and the artists would not be able to doing what they would be doing tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Miss Lily, our choreographer. Our voice coach, Elizabeth. And of course, completing the core team, last but not least, our music director, Mr. Fernando. Welcome, team. How are you guys doing?
We are doing great.
You guys look absolutely lovely, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, now, Lily, I'm going to start off with you. Like I said, you are, of course, the choreographer for these MTC Knockout Project 2020. Just a quick, brief background of what you are about and how you are involved in this project.
So, my name is Lily, and I'm the choreographer for this amazing show. And my job is to put together phenomenal dance moves and to choreograph only the best routines for our personalities to bring you guys absolutely the best show of the year. And thank you. So with that said, on the 18th of July, we will be hosting auditions to scout for only the hottest dancers in the country to help us put together such an amazing show and to give so much support and vibrancy to the show.
All right, now, Elizabeth, like I said in the introduction, you are, of course, the voice coach. At the end of the day, we all like to, feel that we can sing. I know I sing in the shower a lot. Yeah. So you are a voice coach. For how long have you been a voice coach, and how are you bringing your expertise to this project?
I've been in the vocal coaching game for actually over 10 years. So I'm excited because we're working with people who think they don't have talent, but now it's my job to find and for them to harness that.
Yes,
yes. So I'm looking forward to working with the various celebrities, the personalities who will be involved in this, because if you can sing in the shower, you can sing in the choir.
Yes.
If you can sing in the choir, there is hope for you to sing on stage as well. So I'm really excited.
Thank you so very much, Elizabeth. All right, now, Fernando, last but not least, you are the music director for MTC Knockout Project 2020. Live band, freaky, scary stuff.
Yeah. This is going to be very interesting. We used to working with artists who already know their thing, and our thing is just to bring some exciting element towards what they already have.
Yeah.
But then this one is going to be very interesting because we have to create music almost from scratch. And then I'll be teaming up with the choreographer to create that element for that. And then obviously the vocal coach to check the tempos and to check the keys and all of those things. And then we get to meet with the personalities to actually get a vibe. And then after that, we'll be creating the whole performance scene with the band to give the audience that beautiful, performance for them to enjoy the personalities.
Great stuff. All right, now before I let you go, team, any last words? What are you guys excited about? What can the audience look forward to in this year's project?
Only the hottest concert of the year.
I don't think there's a way to top up that. Yes, it's definitely going to be the hottest one because we're going to see something that's never been done before. This is people who are, who don't see themselves as performers, and we're going to make them performers. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get to shout at the band louder or stop or 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be a very good experience for them.
All right, great stuff. Thank you so very much, team. All the best of luck for the entire 3 months. And of course, also do not forget, we are streaming live. Join the conversation by using the hashtag MTC Knockout Project. Thank you, team.
It is the second edition of the MTC Knockout Project. MTC is knocking out homelessness. 30 Namibian personalities will perform 2 hit songs of 30 Namibian artists live on stage. The MTC Knockout Project concert is scheduled for the 3rd of October 2020 live at the National Theatre of Namibia. Tickets to watch the show online will sell for only 50 Namibian dollars. Limited tickets to watch the show live in theatre sell for 500 Namibian dollars. Corporates are encouraged to endorse the participation of a personality with a pledge of only 50,000 Namibian dollars. Come and watch 30 of your favorite personalities live in concert to raise funds for the homeless. The MTC Knockout Project. Together, we can beat homelessness.
I'll take you there. 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 I'll take you
MTC. The MTC Knockout Project. Together, we can beat homelessness.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do not know about you, but I am super, super excited. All right, now, as the advert said, end of this month, ticket sales will start, so you can keep an eye on all our social media platforms for ticket prices and, of course, where you can purchase your ticket. Now, 30 artists, 30 personalities, 2 songs, you do the math. Tonight, we are, of course, going to be introducing 5 of them. Are you guys ready to meet them? All right, let's get it right along. So the first artist is, of course, none other than Mr. Vaughan Arends. Vaughan Arends will be, of course, matched up with the personality, Meria Ileka. Second up is, of course, our artist, Maranatha. And she will be paired up with the lovely Esperance. third for tonight is, of course, the comeback kids, the kids that came back with the bang, Ethnics. Now, Ethnics will be paired up with Ang Singer and NSK. Oh, sorry, Anne Nambunda and NSK. My bad. Sorry, Anne. Now, second last is, of course, none other than DJ Vuyo and our very own Neville Basson. Saving the best for last is, of course, the dynamic duo of PDK, represented by Tim, Melvin, and Licky. Where's the rest of PDK? Are they coming? All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, our 4 artists. First batch for now. Starting end of this month, we will, of course, be introducing the rest via our social media. All right, now I'm going to start with a quick, 2-3 questions for PDK. Now, you guys, of course, were with the other dynamic 3 for the promo video that we saw tonight. How was your experience in, just being in studio with them, live band, and all of that?
It was really exciting. Seeing this guy really trying to nail the steps was fun. So we're looking forward to the next 3 months.
Indeed. Now, Tim, Melvin, and Licky, this one is for you. Now, you guys, this is, of course, indeed, once again, as per usual, a great initiative and project by MTC. Now, my question is, why homelessness this year, and why music? Why intertwine it with music?
Thanks. Having a roof over your head is a basic human right. And that contributes to some form of dignity and a sense of belonging. Now, our choice of going for homelessness was prescribed basically and based on this principle. Now, music is a form of expression, and the fact that our talented artists, including ourselves, are performing is basically to is basically to alleviate the plight of the homelessness, and also to attract attention to the cause and the plight.
Great stuff. Now, Maranatha and Esperance, you two are going to be like Siamese twins for an entire 3 months. Now, what motivated you two to say yes to this initiative, and why get involved?
First and foremost, the heart behind it, and the whole idea in helping the people that are homeless. Many of them are going through so much depression, hurt, and pain. That's why they turn to alcohol and drug abuse. So just seeing the initiative and helping the homeless, really, it touches my heart so dearly. So I was so excited to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So grateful to MTC for this amazing opportunity. I always say that it's one thing to be passionate about something, but to actually come out and do something about it. not everybody does that. And so for MTC to come forth and say, look, we see this problem and this is what we want to do about it, not everybody does that. And so I commend them, and definitely all the artists. I think of everybody, I probably have one of the most difficult tasks. We are not strangers to Maranatha's amazing vocals, but don't judge me, and let's do what we came to do.
Now, Esperan, speaking of which two songs are the two of you going to be tackling?
I wonder. I was telling her just now that I hope she doesn't put me on the spot. I love Yahweh. I'm sure we're all very familiar with Yahweh. I love it, so I was hoping that was one of the songs that she was going to give me, hopefully. But let's hear from her.
I actually, because I was like, let me choose the simplest songs I could ever think of. So I was like, There Is Hope. Let me do There Is Hope and You Reign. But we'll see how that goes. I don't want to give her too vocally challenging songs, so we'll work with the easier ones for now.
Yeah, great stuff. Thank you so very much, ladies. All right, now, Ethnics, you made an amazing comeback this year. Give it up for Ethnics, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
My question to you is, what are the two of you looking forward to during this project?
We're looking more at engaging with the fellow Namibians into this whole homelessness situation. We're looking at pushing more of the youth to be aware of this current situation that we are busy with, and just get them to also lend a helping hand to all the homeless people out there. And we're very excited. We're also willing to make connections with the fellow socialites and everybody else that is involved in the project.
All right, now NSK and Anne, you will be performing as Ethnics. What is going through your mind right now, and what can the fans expect from you two?
Going through my mind, I'm just hoping that my voice doesn't break anything in the room on the night. And honestly, I think the fans can expect something different, something they've never seen before, but still something super fun and exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what she said.
Okay.
But before we continue, Liz, if you could allow me, please.
Of course.
I'd like to challenge everyone that's in the room to please stand. Can we all please stand? Can we all just stand? Thank you very much. Are we all standing, including the production crew? I see y'all. Y'all are sitting. Stand up, please. Okay, cool. While we're at it, can we please raise our right hands? Can we raise it? Can we raise it? Is it up? Is it up? Including the crew on stage. There we go. Now, kindly repeat after me, all right? Please repeat after me. I solemnly swear.
I solemnly swear.
You can do better than that. I solemnly swear.
I solemnly swear.
To pledge.
To pledge.
Every single small dollar that I have.
Any single small dollar that I have.
To knock out.
To knock out.
Homelessness.
Homelessness.
In the land of the brave.
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 I can't hear you. In the land of the brave.
In the land of the brave.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
All right, now last but not least, Vaughn and Meria. Vaughn, just quickly tell us, how will you be prepping Meria for this massive task at hand?
Well, first we're going to start off with a 3 kilometer run, right?
I'm a fast runner, so.
Some star jumps, maybe some vocal lessons, and then after that we're going to try to sing the song.
Okay. Nice. And of course, Meria, how will you be strategizing to nail this task at hand?
Firstly, there is no strategy. I'm literally a fish out of water here. I can't sing to save my life. I probably have 2 left feet, so that's going to be a challenge for choreography. I have massive stage fright, but I think that's why I'm doing it. It's challenging, but it's so worth it to be able to put ourselves out there for a greater cause, a cause much bigger than us.
Yeah.
And so there's no strategy except have fun and hopefully not fall flat on my face. Right? Sorry.
Thank you so very much to all the artists and the personalities. Give it up for them one more time, ladies and gentlemen. I am totally excited. I cannot wait to see the core team, the choreographers, the vocal coach, everybody, band, everybody. You guys have your work cut out for you. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun, but it is indeed for a good cause. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know what they say. All good things most definitely has to come to an end. With that, I'd like to say thank you so very much to MTC, the NTN artists and personalities, the entire core team and media houses, and all invited guests and entire audience members watching us via our live stream. Thank you so very much for gracing us with your presence, and start buying your tickets, and I shall see you guys in 3 months' time. Good night.
It is the second edition of the MTC Knockout Project. MTC is knocking out homelessness. 30 Namibian personalities will perform 2 hit songs of 30 Namibian artists live on stage. The MTC Knockout Project concert is scheduled for the 3rd of October 2020 live at the National Theatre of Namibia. Tickets to watch the show online will sell for only $50 Namibian. Limited tickets to watch the show live in theatre sell for $500 Namibian. Corporates are encouraged to endorse the participation of a personality with a pledge of only $50,000 Namibian. Come and watch 30 of your favorite personalities live in concert to raise funds for the homeless. The MTC Knockout Project. Together, we can beat homelessness. MTC. The MTC Knockout Project. Together, we can beat homelessness.